Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's we're going to be comparing the new Duramax to the new setup with the 6.6 liter gas V8 that you can get with the HD Silverados. Before we get in this video though, a huge shout out and thank you to the large trailer Chevy here in Murray, Utah for giving me some time with both of the trucks. I'm going to include a link to their inventory in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. So Chevy's new 6.6 liter gas V8 goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission, and it puts out 401 horsepower and then 464 pound-feet of torque. And then Chevy's new Duramax is also a 6.6 liter V8, but it's a turbo diesel, goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission. It puts out 470 horsepower and then 975 pound-feet of torque. Now, before we move forward with this comparison, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. Now, when it comes to the fairness of this comparison between these two trucks, well, they're both more baseline when it comes to the packaging, so that part is pretty comparable. And, well, they both have Allison transmissions. I mean, that's what the badges say. However, something to note, this is a 2500. The gas truck is a 2500. The diesel is a 3500 series truck. But if you look at the beds, you guys will notice that they both have 8-foot beds. So they're almost comparable, but I messed up on the series of trucks. And well, you can see this difference most prevalently, other than, well, the badge, with the leaf springs. I mean, look at the leaf springs here with the 2500. And if we pop over to the 3500, you guys can see the helper spring and everything. So yeah, that's gonna change things. But regardless, let's look at the payload capacities. So with the 2500 gas truck, 3,580 pounds is the payload capacity. And then if we pop down here to our charts, you guys can see the gross vehicle weight rating is 11,050 pounds. And then our conventional towing capacity, 16,000 pounds. Gooseneck towing capacity, 18,370 pounds. Now with the diesel 3500, you guys can see 4,206 pounds is the payload capacity. And then if we pop down here, gross vehicle weight rating is 12,250 pounds, so like over 1,000 pounds more with the gross vehicle weight rating. And then you guys can see here with conventional towing 20,000 pounds, so like 4,000 pounds more. Gooseneck towing 21,510 pounds with that. Now, when it comes to pricing between the two different powertrains, it looks like the 6.6 gas V8 is standard equipment, whereas the diesel is going to cost you almost $9,500 to add to the truck. Let's take them out and see what the driving's like. So setting off in this LT with the Duramax, and this one's a long bed. Pretty cool setup for a pickup truck. Now, one thing I love about the Duramax is just how smooth the powertrain is. The 10-speed definitely helps out with that quite substantially. And, well, I can actually get up and move again. So far, our fuel economy is not the greatest because we've just been sitting here waiting with traffic. But yeah, this thing's got so much power. It's really solid. And the ride quality with the Silverado HD, again, this is a 3500 with long bed. Surprisingly good for what this truck is. You think that it would just be like crazy bouncy all over the place, and then it does bounce a little bit, but you know, for the most part, for an HD truck, it's pretty dang daily drivable. It's way more daily drivable than the trucks back in the day that had, I mean, this has independent front suspension and everything. Like back in the day, right, trucks had solid front and rear axles and leaf springs front and rear. I mean, that's when ride quality was real tight. Okay, so we're about to go over the train tracks here, so I guess we'll see the ride quality with this. Pretty solid, pretty solid. Man, this thing's got some torque, let me tell you. It's seriously impressive just how much power this truck has. And you know, that'll lead me into summing things up here with this Duramax LT with the long bed. So I guess emphasis on the Duramax side of things. I'm trying to get as much seat time as I can with the new Duramax to really just kind of get a feel for the powertrain, because you know, we've got the new Power Stroke out. Ram hasn't really done anything with their powertrain in a little bit, so, but it'll still be interesting, you know, to see the comparisons between them. But the point that I'm trying to make here is I'm a big fan. I feel like what I see online a lot is people saying, oh, it doesn't even have 1,000 pound-feet of torque, and it's like, buddy, anything over 800 pound-feet is like overkill. Like, this already has so much torque. And again, the biggest thing is like the towing capacity. This has a really solid towing capacity, both gooseneck and bumper pull. So overall, I'm a big fan. I will say this LT package is kind of interesting. I've noticed that truck makers have been kind of slightly stripping down their middle line. Like the LT, right, it's middle of the line, but I mean, this, when I think of middle of the line, this doesn't exactly like feel like middle of the line, because, and this isn't just a Chevy thing. Ford's doing the same thing, Ram's doing the same thing. Like I feel like this should come standard with dual zone climate, heated seats, and power sliding rear window. That's all I'm asking for. That's it. I feel like it's not too big of an ask. But aside from that, I love the new Duramax. Let me know what you guys think about this truck, and let me know if you agree with the whole standard equipment thing. That's just my personal opinion. Okay, over the course of the short driving route, that's about 3 miles here with the new Duramax, you guys can see 9.3 miles per gallon. So setting off in the 6.6 gas Silverado with the new 10-speed automatic transmission. Does this have the chops to compete against the Duramax? We'll see. We'll see. So first off, I do want to mention something I've noticed about just gas heavy-duty trucks in general is because they're so much lighter than the diesel counterparts, they are kind of less, a little bit less comfortable with the ride quality. Like the ride quality is still fine in this, but with the diesel, like the front end is so heavy and so planted that it just goes down the road. Whereas this, you get back end bounce a little bit, and it upsets the front end a little bit too, because again, it's lighter. It's just interesting with the dynamic difference between the vehicles. But aside from that, I mean, it's got good torque. It's not nearly as much as the diesel, but you know, you've got that instant response that you get from a V8, which, you know, is always a good thing. Okay, well, we're going to be getting our acceleration here with the 6.6 gas V8 with the new 10-speed automatic. This is one heck of an engine. 10-speed definitely helps out quite a bit with gearing. Now, it doesn't obviously feel nearly as powerful as the diesel. I mean, it's got less horsepower and less torque than the current Duramax, and even compared to the old Duramax. The old Duramax, 445 horsepower, this has 401. And then obviously, the torque on the diesel is going to be way more because diesel, right? With that being said, though, it's good enough. It doesn't necessarily feel... Here's the thing to mention, is it doesn't necessarily feel super slow compared to the diesel. Like, it feels slightly slower, but it's not a huge amount. The biggest thing is it you don't get as much of a punch, right? Because you don't have the torque. 464 pound-feet versus 970 in the new one. I mean, that is such a huge difference. And so, you know, I'll obviously show the fuel economy at the end, but, you know, summing things up here with the comparison between both of the vehicles, or both the engines, rather, I think that this has really good torque for what it is. And I think the 10-speed helps out quite a bit with the acceleration as well. And, you know, would I go diesel or gas? I mean, it's tough. So I think if you're just going to be daily driving, I think the gas is more than enough. I think that with the gas powertrain, like, it's got more than enough power. And, you know, I think the big benefit of the diesel, right, is going to be the towing power. Yeah, I mean, this thing moves. Sounds good too. It sounds really good. Yeah, with the diesel, right, the big benefit's going to be slightly better fuel economy. Well, maybe more than slightly, but better fuel economy while towing. And then the power too, right? You've got so much more torque. So like getting off the line with the trailer, and then, you know, while you're up and moving, it has more horsepower. So it's just going to do better while towing. Even though the towing figures aren't all that different from each other. It's like, if you hooked up, okay, this maxes out at 16,000 pounds, and the other one maxes out 20,000 pounds, but if you put a 16,000 pound trailer behind both of the trucks, The diesel, right, it's going to be able to handle it a lot better. Even if you put like I bet if you put a 20,000 pound trailer behind the diesel and a 16,000 pound trailer behind this truck, the 20,000 pounds with the diesel would still feel better because of the extra torque. But let me know which powertrain you like better. I will say though, like with the new 10-speed, it makes this 6.6 a lot more exciting. It makes the 6.6 way more of like a powertrain that I think is way more worth considering, because the old 6-speed was fine, but the 10-speed's just, it's really transformed this powertrain. It makes it way more competitive in the segment, and then also against the diesel. But regardless, let me know if you'd go diesel or gas. So with the gas 6.6 Silverado over our little driving route, 9.4 miles per gallon, so like pretty much the same as the diesel.